Well, now that you went through the PowerPoint presentation and watched the intro video, as well as the corresponding videos, let's summarize what we learned. Coming up next, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the proper way to write code and write out those 6 required HTML tags. Summarize, I'm going to show you those required tags. Now notice the way I'm going to be writing the code. That way you gain good habits. So I'm going to start out with doing the declaration at top, which is the doc type HTML. After that, I'm going to hit enter, and then we have our opening HTML tag. Immediately after, I'm going to hit enter a few times, and I'm going to close our HTML tag. That way I don't forget later at the end. Now remember, we said we can add this language attribute at the top. It is optional, but it's good to get in a habit of doing that. From there, I'm going to hit enter again. Notice the format in all the examples. You tab in one time for the head. And like I said, I'm going to hit enter twice, and then I'm going to immediately close this head tag. That is a good format when you're writing HTML code, is to open and close your tags. So many times I see code when people are first starting out that they forget to close their tag. Next we have this meta charset UTF 8. Now notice when you use some text editors, they start to fill in what they think you're going to write. That's the advantage. I'm using Sublime right now. That's the advantage of using this. I start to type out title, and it kind of knows what I'm going to type, so I can kind of just hit tab, and it'll finish that out right for me. So this is one of those empty tags. It doesn't get a closing tag. Title. This is going to be the title that shows up in the browser tab. So we could say sample title. And that's all that's going to go in the head right there. This is for security. This is our title. After the head, we have the body tag. Immediately, I'm going to hit enter twice, and I'm going to close the body tag. Everything else goes inside this body tag. So, if you want to save this, everything right here as your sample template, that's what I would use to start off all your HTML documents. I'm going to save that and use that as my sample page. Now that we looked at those 6 required HTML tags again, I'm going to share my screen with you one more time, and we'll see some of the other common HTML tags that we learned throughout Lesson 2, and we'll also see what they look like when they're rendered in a browser. Some of the other common HTML tags that we went over in Lesson 2. If we look, this document starts out with our standard required tags. I titled this one HTML tags. In the body, started off with a paragraph tag, and then this horizontal rule. This is going to show a line across the screen, and it was talked about in Lesson 2, Chapter 2, in the beginning. These are our headings, the 6 different sizes we have. We have a line break here. This text is going to be strong. It's going to look bold, and this emphasized text is going to look italicized. This text is going to be struck out, and this text is going to be underlined. And all this is done by putting this text between our opening and closing tag. You have another line break. This is a H2 heading. It says my first link. And in here, in between paragraph tags, we have our link code. We have our opening A tag with the href attribute. Our link goes in here in the center. You can add any link in here. And this is the closing part of that opening tag here. So this whole thing is actually that opening A tag. And then this text is what the link is going to be. So anything here is going to be that clickable link. Now we close our A tag and we can continue our text. So it says click here to go to Google. Click here will be that blue link color, and this will be the rest of the regular text on the page. We close our paragraph tag. I added 4 breaks here and then put this footer tag, and this footer will be at the bottom. And we see we close our body tag, close our HTML tag. Now, you can save all this and open it in the browser. Doing so, it'll show up like this. Now notice that title, HTML tags, that is what is displayed right here. This is the title that's going to be in the browser tab. We have our first paragraph. We have a horizontal rule. These are the 6 different headings. I typed heading 1 for all of them, but you can see we can easily change this text to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, resave it. We're going to reload that, and now we see it says heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the bold, emphasized. This text is struck out. This is underlined. My first link brings us down to here, our H2 tag. Then it says click here to go to Google. Notice if I hover over this, it says the link in the bottom right here. We have 4 line breaks, which appears this white space here, and then we have the footer. Let's test our link out. Click our link, brings us to Google. We can go back, brings us back here. And those are some of the common HTML tags that we talked about. Now there was a few other ones, such as article, section, nav. But once you understand that you just need to have your opening and closing tag and everything in between, the rest is just about figuring out where to position it on the page. So to summarize, in lesson 2, we learned that the first step to creating any web page is to do those required HTML tags in the beginning and end. From there, we learned how to add paragraphs, line breaks, headings. We learned about semantic tags, and we learned how to link to other web pages. Putting that all together, we have a good idea of the most basic and common used HTML tags that will be the structure of our web page. Coming up next in Chapter 3, we will be learning CSS, which is the style of our page. That's how to add backgrounds, colors, make things look really good, essentially. And remember, you can always go back and review the corresponding videos, these videos, or the PowerPoint presentation if there's anything that was a little hard to grasp or you didn't really fully understand.